My name is Madeline Wales. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and today I'll be presenting on the fall, or the story of Adam and Eve, and the implications it's had from the Christian perspective, within different Abrahamic religious traditions, and how we're still seeing this story and its subsequent arguments in play today. So, why this? Like I mentioned, it's prevalent in all Abrahamic traditions. It's the origin story of humanity. God made the world in 7 days, and then he made Adam and Eve. It's been interpreted differently across Christian denominations. I'll talk about that later. And I'll also talk about later how it's currently being referenced in politics today. So, background. Genesis chapters 1 through 5. That's where the creation myth comes from. There's two distinct narratives. The first one is pretty simple. After God made the world in 7 days, he made humans, told them to go multiply and oversee everything he created. The second one, God creates Adam from dust and told him not to eat he could eat any fruit except fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Eventually, he takes one of Adam's ribs and gives him a companion named Eve. Later on, a serpent convinced Eve to eat from that one tree God told them not to eat from, and then Eve later convinced Adam to eat from that tree. As a result, God cursed the serpent, who Christians also believe is the devil. It cursed the ground, which is why we have to farm, and told Adam and Eve that humanity will be punished as a result of their sins and banished them from the Garden of Eden. So, where do these differences arise? Well, from a broader perspective, in Judaism, they recognize two different accounts, but believe Adam was originally both physically and spiritually male and female, and then God separated the two by creating Eve, and the woman from the first account, where it was just mentioned humankind, was actually different from Eve. I'm not going to go into that, it just popped up in my research. The second narrative is that in Christianity, women were to blame for all of men's problems, hence why Christianity is typically misogynistic in nature. They believe Jesus had to die to atone for the original sin caused by Eve, and the serpent was often depicted as female. In this slide, the serpent has a little pink bow. In Islam, they believe that both Adam and Eve were equally responsible. Eve because she believed the serpent, Adam because he believed Eve. They also believe that Adam and Eve are the mother and father of humanity, respectively, and the concept of original sin, which I'm about to go into, does not exist. So, there's three main ideas of how sin came into the world within Christian traditions. In the Eastern Orthodox tradition, they believe that sin is a result of death. Humans sin in order not to become immortal, but to be remembered after their death. When Jesus came, died on the cross, and was resurrected, he destroyed death, the root of all sin. In Catholicism, they believe that as a result of Eve's original sin, humans are born with debt due to our fallen nature and add to it with additional sins. Think of it like a credit card, except this isn't one you really want to use. But when Jesus died on the cross, he repaid all of humanity's debt. So we start off with a clean slate when we accept him into our hearts. So now the relationship model is seen predominantly within the last 40 years in evangelicalism. It basically says that because Adam and Eve sinned, God cannot have a relationship with sinful people. It goes against his holy nature. And so as a result, Jesus took all of our sins upon himself when he died on the cross, and now we can have a relationship again with Jesus. So how is this currently being seen in politics? Well, the most recent example is Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican in Congress who attacked her Democratic colleague who has a transgender daughter for supporting the Equality Act, claimed that science and the Bible justifies it, but just to note, science has confirmed that gender is a spectrum, not a binary. in Ghana. This reverend published an article titled God Created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Adam's Sin. It basically said that LGBTQ plus people are mentally ill and need to seek help. And it's important to note that homosexuality is still illegal in Ghana. And in Panama, transgender activists are concerned over the country's lockdown rules because of COVID-19, where men are allowed out on certain days and women are allowed out on other days. They're worried because some people may present as male, or that's their chosen gender identity, but on their identification cards it says there's female, or if they're gender fluid, again, on their identifications cards it says one gender, and the police are checking those. And in this article, an activist said, quote, "There are still police patrols who use the argument that God only created Adam and Eve." So yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you for watching.